So it's streaming,
Okay.
I think. Yeah, it's streaming, and I have not shared my screen with you yet. But what I just shared with you is what that's all that's on the screen on the stream.
Okay.
So like actually if you go to my YouTube, let's see. This is gonna oh god damn it. Whatever. So like I will I just sent you the link so you can see what it looks like.
Oh.
Basically it's just the screen with my
Here, I'm gonna pull the
poker tracker up.
Okay, cool.
It's gonna be our voices.
I really like astral speculation. Because the other thing too is if you have astral speculation, you can have like.
Oh, we can talk about markets and trading and sports betting.
And you can have
all that shit.
Yeah, but I think okay, so this is poker. Oh shit, it's like echoing. That's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna pause that.
Yeah, I just sent you that so you could see kind of what the visual.
Okay, I have it paused. Well, what I'll probably do is turn the volume off.
Or just shut it off. I mean, it's not.
Yeah. Okay.
Just shut it off.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
So, all right. Well, have you hit the OBI record yet or not yet?
It's streaming. It's live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So the question you asked is, what do you want to review? So I played. Well, here's where I'm at for this week. What day is it? Today is. Or here, since the 29th. So like this week I only have 2 sessions that I have the data for.
Okay.
I have since played a couple more sessions that were profitable, but I can't download them yet. Those were the I told you last night I played 33 hands and doubled up.
Yeah, that's great, man. I love that. I mean, I guess that's a good intro to kind of what your strategy is why don't you kind of go over that?
So the way that I play this is I play zone poker for no more than an hour and a half session length.
Never broken that rule.
Yeah.
You stick to it. You do stick to it.
I tell you what, every time that I break it, it's because I'm chasing losses.
But generally, I would say out of most gamblers, you're pretty good at sticking to that.
I've been, I think, pretty good about it, and I'm trying to be good. But, so I'll play for no more than an hour and a half, or until I get to 300 big blind stack size. Because I've been training, the pre-flop ranges and everything are 100 big blind ranges, and everything that I've studied, like all the, everybody, like all the content that's out there is all about 100 big blind ranges.
Interesting, okay.
And so I stop when I get to 300.
Fair enough. And so you're playing Zoom poker.
Yeah.
So a lot of your sessions could be short.
Yeah, well, so okay. This session I started at 9:18 and I stopped at 9:32. It was 15 minutes. but I doubled up, right? Like once I double up, I just immediately click sit out next big blind. Or once as soon as I get over 100 or one not three, I said 300 big blinds, 150 big blinds.
Oh, okay.
$300. I'm playing 1-2.
Yeah.
So if I'm playing, so I buy in for 200, and I'll play, and I won't like reload back to 200 unless I get really low. Like if I get down to 100, if I get down to like 50 big blinds, I'll reload. But if I'm still at like 60 or 70 or something like that, I'll just kind of play slightly short stack. And then if I mean, but sometimes I'll have to reload. So like, say I get down to 100, like I get down to 50 big blinds, and I'm like, okay, I reload to a full 100 big blind stack, and then I get to 150 at some point because I go on a hot streak or whatever. Then I that's a break even session for me because I still stop when I get to 150 big blinds. But if I have to buy in for 50, right?
Okay.
Like, I guess I didn't download this session. I'm glad I looked at this.
Well, one thing too that I kind of just want to echo out loud, just because it still blows my mind, is that 24 hours later, you're able to download these sessions, and you're able to see. It's all anonymous. It's Zoom anonymous. You're able to see everyone's whole cards when they folded. What after you fold, you get to see everyone's whole cards. So you get to see everyone's like even if they fold, you
As
get to see the hands.
as long as you have, yeah, the trade off is you have to wait 24 hours before you can download the data.
And so you're able to see in a population pool what cards what hands they're playing, how they're playing it, and I think it's amazing because we can go in and be some peanut gallery bullshit here and fucking look at them.
Yeah, so like, I mean, when you do hand reviews, so this is how I've been doing hand reviews, or for myself internally. So this is what I've been doing. I will go and like this is the most recent session, right? Hour and 19 minutes long.
Okay.
I still lost money, and that's one that I had to buy in like a couple times. I think. Like if you look at this session, so I bought in, added chips, I added chips, and then I got up to 150 big blinds, and I cashed out. So
What
like
is
that's
the
how I
gut
have a lose.
feeling you have right when you leave?
What's that?
Betting and reloading, and then leaving while you're kind of quote unquote up. It's kind of like
Well, I'm like unstuck, right? But so anyway, so like this session, like that's kind of that's one of the longer sessions, right? And like this is consistent. This hands per hour thing, 240 hands per hour. Like that's the thing about the Zoom poker. Like I play a shitload of hands per hour, and so an hour and 19 minutes is 318 hands. Like that's a lot of data to go through to review. You know what I mean? So the way that I've been doing it is I download the hand and then I'll sort it by big hands that I won, and
mm-hmm.
I'll go through those and I'll tag the ones that like I want to look at later with you or
Mm-hmm.
I'll just tag the ones that are like kind of interesting or whatever, right? Like this one isn't tagged because it's not particularly interesting. I don't know why. We'll look at it. Just as an example, I'll make it big so you can see it. So somebody raised, somebody 3-bet. I had queens in the small blind. I squeezed, and they folded. That's not interesting. Like there's nothing to review there, right? I mean, it's kind of interesting that this guy's 3-betting with ace 4 suited from the cutoff, but like I think that's actually appropriate.
Yeah.
Opening twos in the low jack is pretty wide. So you get a little bit of range data from that, but like there's so many other hands. Like I'm just not flagging this hand, right? But it was, I mean, this wasn't a great session, so that was one of my better hands.
And then, real quick, can you go into a hand that you just folded, but that was a big action hand for other people.
Yeah. So then that's another. Well, sure.
Yeah.
So this was a huge action hand that I had nothing to do with. Um, I had 10-8 suited in the cutoff. This guy opened from the low jack. Sorry, I gotta remember to do that.
Okay, boom, there it is.
So I fold pocket kings, 3 bets, jacks calls, pretty standard. Cooler Rama.
Oh. All right. Can the Jacks get away with losing under 50 big blinds?
So C bet, pretty standard C bet, I think.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you do here with the Jacks?
With the jacks, I'm calling.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like this guy has a ton of like top pair good
yeah,
kicker that's never folding,
case,
right?
I know he has a set, so I'm calling. But
I mean, like,
yeah.
if I have jacks, I'm just calling here. What
Oh,
I
he
was saying
called.
is interesting is I think this bet size is this is a pretty like connected board.
Yeah, I think
For a
so.
third pot, I mean, I think he's saying that he's betting his whole range here.
Yeah, I
So
think
that's
he's
why
trying
he's
to
betting.
get check raised and then get it all in right here.
I mean, if he gets check raised, he's never. I mean, ace queen.
Never.
These fuckers love their ace queen though, dude. If I got check raised here with kings, I would reluctantly call. Anyway, Rick River check, keeps betting. Now he gets it. Now he min click.
Wow. He doesn't shove it.
He doesn't shove it.
The min click
He leaves
is
this
so
awkward
strong.
stack size behind.
Dude, the min click is like so strong.
Yeah. And then the kings say, fuck you.
And then what's on the river? Jack?
No. I mean, well, yeah. Anyway. So,
okay, that's cool.
like, you can sit and peanut gallery on hands that you didn't have anything to do with, which is why a session with I mean, this is only 318 hands, but it has a shitload of data.
Yeah.
Right? Like, keeping up with that much data. Well, anyway, so going back to how I go through it, I'll sort it by by hands won. I'll tag the ones that I kind of want to look at again that are or whatever that are noteworthy, and then I'll do it by the hands lost, noteworthy, and then if I have time, I'll sort it by total pot size, and go through those ones that other people played in, and I use kind of a different tag system. Like here, this is one that I note that I marked as interesting for some reason. I don't remember why. Ace 5 open. 10's 3 bet. Notice, look at this disciplined fold in the button.
That is a good fold.
I just want to point that out.
Well, do you fold if it's just raised? No, you 3-bet, right?
I probably against the low jack open. That's a call.
Okay.
Especially if the 10's flat.
Okay.
This hand plays really well multi-way, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's suited.
Fuck yeah, it's suited.
Dude, you remember how in every poker story, it's like, well, I was in there with 4-2. It was suited, though.
It was suited, though. So, yeah, anyway, disciplined fold here, I think, from yours truly. And I'm glad I mean, whatever, the king squeeze. This is interesting to me. The low jack versus a small blind. And it's hard though because this is a cold 4-bet. Ace 5 is an interesting hand, right? That's like, I think it's right to get
Oh,
whatever.
the king's there. Do you ever think there's a call
with kings.
Yeah.
I think I think you maybe call with aces.
Okay.
Kings are vulnerable. I mean, they're not that vulnerable, but they're vulnerable. Like if they just call, then ace five is definitely getting the right odds to call.
I see.
They flop an ace like 99% of the time because you have king.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know that. It's like
Right?
99% true.
Yeah, I mean
Well, I
like
think
basically every
yeah.
time you have kings, like an ace comes on the flop, right? So
I guess this just goes back to just make sure you have a four betting range that's not just aces, kings, and queens.
oh yeah, if you want to be right. I mean, like is tens call? Are you calling with tens here?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so maybe you can just have aces, kings.
Okay, let's see what happens, dude. Now I'm like,
So
oh, he bets. I like the small bet. Tens
I like
seems
the
good.
small bet here too. I mean, I think there's definitely conventional wisdom that says when you flop top set, you're supposed to check because you block the things that the other guy would continue with or whatever. But this board is just like I feel like you're betting your whole four bet squeeze range here. Like it's not that big anymore. Like you said,
Yeah, and I feel like
is
to take a step as a good poker player, you need to learn to bet out on your sets when you flop them. You know.
yeah. I mean, like you got a good hand. You got to build the pot. The guy could have a fucking flush draw. Like at least.
And watch, let's see. I guarantee this guy calls.
Well, yeah.
I didn't see the P&L. Okay, so let's see what the Kings does. Checks. Yep. Tens is definitely. Oh, look at that bet. What do you think about that's way too big?
I think that this is a terrible bet.
Yeah.
I think
I think you can do 31 at the most.
I don't think you bet this ever
Oh, really?
against a four bet squeeze range.
And then you just call, but you just like call the river. What? So you just
Like this four bet squeeze has it has all the ace kings. It has a lot of ace queens in it. It has kings. It has queens. It has ace, and it
so
has king queen.
so I like your style here. So if you're gonna check the turn, like you're calling the flop to check the turn to then maybe call a river bet.
I think you're calling the flop to yeah, maybe depending on the size of the bet.
Yeah. So you're really just calling so that the ace jack, the ace five suiteds give up on the river miss.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, I think that's where most of your EV comes from. And the reason, I mean, it's 17% odds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? Like you've got good pot odds for that. Like that doesn't have to happen all that often for this 10 big blind call to like be okay, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good.
But when he checks and you ball
You blast the
for
board.
fucking
Yeah.
2/3,
This
is
is why seeing their whole cards is fucking amazing.
is this value or is this bluff?
This bluff.
Have you turned your pocket tens into a bluff? If so, do you really expect Ace King to fold for 72 more behind?
No, but I think he's hoping queens full. Ace queen.
Ace Queen?
Mm-hmm.
Ace Queen specifically.
Or queen X. I think.
What
I think
Queen
that's
X
the
is in the
bet.
4 bet squeeze range that's not Ace Queen? The only one I
Queen,
can think of is King Queen, and it's not fucking folding.
queen Jack suited.
Queen Jack suited is a 4 bet squeeze?
Oh yeah, dude. Is it? I don't know.
I don't. I'm not 4 bet squeezing that.
Okay.
It doesn't have very good blocker. Like if you're gonna 4 bet squeeze as a bluff, I think you have to have an ace or a king in your hand
Okay.
because it blocks like
Yeah.
and kings, right?
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Anyway, I think this is a terrible
No,
bet.
I like it. Okay, this is good. Okay, let's.
I mean,
So bad bet because basically somebody's four bet squeeze range is rarely gonna have queen X, only ace queen. So you're basically betting 42 to try to get ace queen off.
you're trying to get ace queen to fold, and like that's, I mean, it's There's however many combinations of it, 12 or something, but like
Okay.
there's so many other hands that aren't going anywhere. I don't know, man. It's a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah.
So this is what blows my mind. King's overshove. Watch this. Call.
Call. Yeah. I mean, at that point,
Well, yeah,
how
you
much?
got 15% pot odds, but like,
30,
what
30,
beat?
10
Flush
jack
draws, I guess. Ace
flush
5
draw.
flush draw. Ace Jack flush draw.
Yeah. He should have bet 31 and left himself like another 40 to fold and
Yeah.
just call.
I mean, if you're gonna bet there, it's got to be. This is too big, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's a good bet. Period. Anyway, so that's why I marked that one because it's
That's a good one.
interesting.
Yeah.
um, here's another one that's pretty big. AK open flat.
Okay.
Um, this is kind of interesting, right? Like neither of the both of these guys are happy, but also kind of pissed off. Right?
Yeah.
Like, all right, I flopped top pair, but it's a monotone board. All right, I flopped a set, but it's a monotone board.
Yeah. It's like,
I mean, whatever. And so
no,
I don't know how I feel about this pot's like big C bet.
um, it's okay. I mean, I think it lets you know where you're at.
I mean, like you're just charging hearts to a lot of money. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I just think you can't. Well, you can't check raise because if you call, then you're fucked. So it's really just a better a check. I guess you could check. I think here the idea is the big bet. If you get raised, you can get super sneaky with the fold. I don't know,
Yeah, but
but it is more.
somebody's like
It,
raising with King X with the King of Hearts,
yeah, that's where you get bluffed out.
but they still
I
have
mean, I
a ton
guess
of
it is
equity,
more
right? Like
deceptive to check and then call when it's bet big.
I don't know. So and then our threes, are you raising here or just like
Yeah, I think I'm raising just
with the
because of the
monotone
heart
board? You're not
nine.
worried?
I just am like, this guy isn't good enough to bet out his flush like that. He's got ace X of hearts. I'm raising, hoping he shoves, and I'm calling off, and I'm calling. I'm comfortable getting it all in on the flop with a set on this board.
Well,
So I
you
think,
mean especially when the guy leads out with that big of a.
yeah, so that's why I think the raise is good.
Well, he just.
He calls, okay. All right.
Um,
Well, that's good. Unless another ace or a five.
I mean, so now he's not afraid of the flush anymore, right?
Call.
Yeah.
You should call. Okay, good.
Yeah, because now you got the nuts, right? Like.
Five. No, five's coming.
So
Okay.
this is what I found most interesting about this hand. This guy kept going.
So this guy's value towning this bet.
I mean, I think that's what that is, right? Like 16.
So that means you have to
41.
fold.
Huh?
You have to fold to a raise if you're betting this. Oh my god.
With 8.4 big blinds remaining in his stack, he lives
That is,
to fight another day.
that's terrible play, dude. That's bad on a lot of levels because if I'm doing this, I'm upping my river bet for value. I'm betting like 30. I'm betting like 29, 28 big blinds, and then I'm folding to any raise, or like 31. Because very, very few people are raising the river there on a bluff. Like, fuck that. They're going to do it on the turn.
Yeah.
And so when he called, that's just terrible play.
I mean, I think that's like that's not even good pot odds. 30%. Like, do you win this 30% of the time? No. No.
Fuck no, dude. Like maybe like one out of like one time in your life, and that's why you keep calling it. Dude, I think that's like the number one leak. It's like, oh man, one time these puts paid off. Let me keep buying them.
Let me keep buying puts, bro. All right. Let's see this one. Hero folds 8-9 offsuit.
Good job on the fold there. I mean, it's tough sometimes.
You know, you got to just keep living that life. This is interesting to me because the 5-4 suited against the small blind 3-bet is like a pure call. I don't know if you're pure calling that or not, but I mean, like, it's a really
Yeah, I'm calling that. I'm calling that for sure.
okay. I mean, it's a really good hand to call with, right? Like you unblock, like you have coverage of the board that the other guy does not, right? Like,
yeah,
which illustrates our point here.
wow.
That's a brutal fucking flop. But I flagged this because, okay, I think this again, like c betting with your top sets on a dry board like this, right? Like, I think that's a good bet.
Yeah, yeah. I think this guy calls. Wow.
He just calls. Well, so think about it though, right? Like you've got 2 pair, and like, I mean, yeah. In this case, he has a set of kings. Well,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of just
Yeah.
single
No, that's a good
pairs.
call. That's a good call.
He's got a lot of ace king, king queen, king 10, king 9, king jack, right? Like, and then he's got all of his bluffs. Like if he's betting small like this, he's saying he's betting with his whole range, which has a bunch of bluffs in it. And so you're like, let him keep bluffing. Like I got 2 pair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a good call. Personally. And then, he checks, you bet. I think this is a reasonable bet size.
Yeah.
Right? Like again, you're gonna get all those strong kings with a good kicker. I mean, they're not folding, right? You're getting value.
No, they're not folding. Now? If the kings shove all in,
Do you call?
I think you.
I think
Yeah.
I'm calling.
If
If he shoves, I'm calling.
yeah. I can sit here and say I'm not calling, but I'm calling.
He does not shove,
He calls.
which is very strange to me. But calls.
Ooh, good. So now he can check, and now he can. Now the check here is. Oh my God, I don't know if I like that. Well, I mean, obviously you've got to check because you called. But if the guy doesn't have 5-4 and the guy has jacks, I don't know.
He's checking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I think that's the reason why this call isn't good. Is because you're out of position. Like you want to get all the chips in, right?
Yeah.
And like, what rivers can you reasonably bet out on? Like none. And so now you're just hoping that he keeps betting, and like he's got a lot of hands where his 2 pair just got pipped by king queen, right? And like I don't know, like I'm probably just checking behind with this 5-4, especially like
Yeah, because it's such a weird call. You're just like, God, okay.
yeah, like what are you doing with 5-4 here?
Yeah.
I can't say for sure. I mean, but I think I'm checking behind, like saying, well, like, because he could have. He probably doesn't have king six, but he has king queen, and he's certainly
Mm-hmm.
pocket. I don't. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, maybe I'm betting here for value. I don't know if I'm betting that big for. Well, he's all in, so he's got 53 behind. So I mean, I guess that's the thing, right? Is like it's just a 78 or 80% pot size bet or whatever the size. It's a weird bet size. It's remaining. You're either checking behind or you're going for it. So I mean, I don't know, but
Yep.
an interesting spot, right?
That is, yeah. That was an interesting hand. I'm glad you flagged that one.
Here's one that is. I'm gonna hide the known hole cards. So open. Another thing about my strategy is I'm playing a 3-bet or fold strategy from the small blind.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, whatever. I don't.
That's yeah.
I I think at these stakes, this is still pretty low stakes. The rake is less than 25.50 certainly, but it's still like it's pretty high rake.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the whole thing about whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So 12 and a half. This dingaling with 21 big blinds
Calls.
flats. Which is so annoying. Um, and then this guy makes $100 to go and leaves 22 behind. What are you doing here?
He makes it 50 big blinds.
He makes it 50 to go. Now he has 22 behind and he has 9.6 behind.
I'm full. I mean, I'm probably folding. I don't know.
I
Yeah, I'm full. I'm folding
yeah,
here.
I think that you're right. I did not fold.
That's okay. Honestly, I see a lot of guys playing nines or gals. I mean, the only thing is the 50 big blind is definitely reeks of like isolation. Like people will do that shit with eights and sevens. Yeah, I don't think you can totally blame yourself for the call because it's such an ISO move.
It's like why didn't he shove?
Exactly.
Like if he shoves, I fold here, no question.
Yeah.
But like, why did he leave 20 big blinds behind? Like
I don't know.
he's expecting me not to call, and he just wants to get it all in with this guy, right? So
Yeah.
no. And then I think I get like so. This guy is obviously never folding his hand. This is maybe the worst flop ever.
22. I think you just got a call, to be honest.
Really?
I mean, 22 to win.
Yeah, yeah. 160 something. You have 13% pot odds. This is a call.
I mean, I've made that call for sure, bro. I don't know. This is a really good hand to pull up.
I guess I just feel like
He's already out. I don't know.
I feel like the king is just the worst possible fucking card.
Yeah, but he's shoving there with like ace queen and low pocket pairs if he's in ISO mode. The problem is he's also shoving there with tens.
And jacks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think you could do either. I don't know. It's just enough where you're like not paying, like you're not. Yeah, it's like 22. Yeah, because you could fold 40, snap call 10. Yeah, I don't know. What did you do? Queens. Yeah, exactly. So like the theory is right? He's like shoving on the flop. That's a good example of like you're like he's shoving on the flop and he's like overplaying his hand, but it still beats yours.
Right, like he's.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
yeah, that was good. That was good. I mean,
I feel like I
oh,
feel like you can get away from that pre-flop, but I didn't.
yeah, it's all right. I mean, yeah,
There's part of me that feels like I should have just gotten away from that field pre-flop, and maybe it's being results oriented.
yeah.
Because like if this guy has fucking ace jack,
Let's flash the meme here. The takeaway is just because somebody's overplaying their hand doesn't mean it still doesn't beat yours. And it's like, I think intuiting that somebody's weak and they're overplaying, but they're like shoving all in, like, yeah, it's like one of the worst feelings ever.
yeah.
Because you're like, call, I know you don't got shit. It's like, yeah, but neither do you. Like, you can look me up with. Yeah.
This is just
Debauchery.
so. I remember I was talking to you about the 4-bet all-in shove range.
Yeah.
Apparently, ace-6 suited from the low jack is included in that range.
Wow, dude, how often do those people get to play against you?
I mean, they're all part of the pool.
Nice.
So he does not get there.
Well, dude, for this, let's do one more for the sake of people's attention span.
All right. What do you want
And
to
then
do?
let's
You want
fire up some tables, bro, and get you your 100
to? Let's see. I mean, we can just look at the biggest one from the session,
Okay.
which I. Let's see. All right, blind versus blind. I hate blind versus blind, dude. Can I just say that?
What's that? You hate it?
I hate blind versus blind. It feels like the variance is just. I mean, it's like heads up, right? Like the variance is just ridiculous. And it's heads up, but you're out of position, like in the small blind. If you're playing like heads up, then you get to be in position. Anyway. So I am also I am not playing. I am not limping from the small blind ever. Like if it folds to me in the small blind, I am raising or folding, and that is also a rake thing. Because like high rake games,
Yeah.
it's not supposed to be profitable to limp in the small blind, which I don't know if that's true or what. But anyway, top pair.
Okay.
Door flush, backdoor straight draw.
That's always a thing, bro.
So, are you c-betting this board texture?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I hate blind versus blind. I mean, it feels like ranges are so wide. It's like everybody could have something, but like
definitely betting like more though to let them know that like, hey man, I got a piece.
well, yeah, right. And like I think you're a big part of your betting motivation here is for protection, right? Like so. I mean, it's a little bit more than half pot. Like 60, I don't know if that's 60.
And his jackass raises probably.
What's that?
Does he raise?
No.
No, he just calls. Okay.
He just calls.
So the problem, yeah.
He could have an ace.
He could, and like the problem is you're playing anonymous tables, so a lot of people probably aren't betting their eights. So when you bet, it's kind of he's probably perceiving like bullshit.
Right.
So I'm probably check letting him bet calling, and then check depending on the bet size calling.
Okay, so this is playing out. So you
And
said I'm checking to call, right?
definitely snap calling. And I'm trying to focus on, oh yeah, check. Unless he overbets. Call. Snap call. Send it. Yeah, send that fucking cookies. Dumb fuck.
Look at the King 6 offsuit in the fucking bluff range.
It's this is what okay. This is one thing I've learned. Like, I am noticing a lot of better players are able to perceive when people are checking out of strength, like checking to like call. Like, hey, I'm checking, but I like don't think I'm weak. I'm checking to call. I'm not like checking to fold here, right? And like,
Yeah, that's a big weakness at this player pool. There are a lot of times where you'll check, like, and they just like start blasting off with a very mediocre hand because they're like, well, he checked. If he had an ace, he'd bet here.
yeah, it's like, bro, dude, do you think I'm gonna check nothing and fold to your river bet? No, dumbass. I'm gonna bet the river and make it look like a weak bluff.
Right.
And one thing we could try now is just to see how it flows is if you wanted to close this out and fire up a table.
Yeah, for a little bit. I got
Yeah.
walk the dog soon, but I can.
No. I mean, if you got.
No, not for like another. They got time.
Yeah, let's see how the flow goes.
All right. Olive, you have to wait.
And let's play a 10-20.
What's that?
Let's play a 10-20 zoom. I'm just kidding.
They don't have 10-20.
What are they? They probably only have like what are
They have 2-5, and there's 7 people playing.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good game on like a Friday night maybe.
I have not seen that very full ever.
Yeah, I think if you want to play bigger stakes on those, you just gotta sit your ass down at the table. Bovada. Okay, baby. Oh, nice, dude. Dude, this is way more fun than fucking hand analysis. I don't know. Let's see the whole cards. And
I mean, so here's the thing, right? You're not going to be able to see these whole cards for like a while.
No problem, but we'll get some commentary, and then we can go back later and then like circle back with it.
I think definitely like reviewing these hands like after you have all of them.
One thing we can do is if we wanted to actually stream this while you play, I could be quiet maybe during the hands. You know, because I'm not allowed to help. You know, people are like, he's got someone helping him. You know, like assistance. You know, like.
I feel like. I think that's a good point. I think that like. You just.
Well, if you wanted to generate drama, you could generate a controversy. Like, is this cheating? Next.
I think that you just don't talk about the current hand ever.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be like, he's texting him on the side.
Well, I mean, if they're gonna whatever, right? But like,
I think you're trying to create a cheating controversy, build the following.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then you're like,
I'd be interested in it.
Anonymous handle, because it's so funny. You're like, it's like, anyway, we can see how it flows. This is you're already down, man. I don't know.
I'm down 3.5 big blinds. But see, so okay, like here's the thing, right? Like there are people that are like, you're giving up EV by not reloading right now. Like, what happens if you get it all in and like you only have $192 instead of $200? Like you just gave up like blah 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 expected value. And it's like, if I reload like every time I'm down, and with this strategy where if I get to 150 big blinds, I just fold. If I'm constantly reloading, then like that's way more likely for that to be a losing session. Which,
yep.
And I guess I mean I realize that that's all just kind of like psychological and like the math, like it shouldn't really matter, right? But it matters to me.
It matters to you, and if it matters to you, yeah. The other thing too is, you know how many times you green dot somebody or donk tag them because they got like $173.28.
Right.
You know, what you really should buy in for is like an extra cents. Okay, here's an in. Like, but there you go. I guess they did the cents for you. I forgot. There's a.
What's that?
I was like, you should always have cents next to your.
Oh, well, it happens automatically.
Yeah, naturally. I was like, yeah.
It just whenever you first start, like because if all you've done is just like fold blinds, like
Yeah,
dollar amounts, but
there's a guy with $1,100. That's interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
but immediately when I see someone with 200, I'm like, fuck.
I think this is a fold, bro.
Really? Gosh, I love it.
Oh no, 28%. We rolled a 75. So this is an open if it folds to us. But it is a fold against the button open. This is a call. This is a reluctant call. I don't really like this hand very much. Ugh.
I feel like. I mean, I feel like you have to call something here. Oof.
Nah. One time. Ha! But he still has a bunch of ace king and ace queen, right?
Yeah. So what do you? Yeah. Talk me through. What are you thinking?
I'm not folding.
Jesus Christ. Mm.
I'm not folding.
I feel like he might have the clubs here though. That was like. I feel like you call that bet and nice, dude. What a dumbass.
So remember I was telling you about the turn over bet?
Yeah.
5-4 suited, bro.
Jesus.
So like I feel like the turn over bet is
Is there because people are folding.
it is so effective at getting people to fold that it's almost never for value. Because if you're turnover betting and your fold rate is like, 95% or something, why would you do that with value? If you have value, you want them to call.
That's a great point. Well played.
Right?
Dude, how sick is that if he shoves the river?
That's pretty sick. And like there's so much of my range that's like I don't know, man.
That's dude.
What was that?
If he shoved the river, I was gonna be like, nah, I don't know, bro. I think you got fooled, but
I mean, I don't know though, right? Like cuz I think you're supposed to do that move whenever a flush draw shows up, which is what he did, right? Like it was a club. I mean, he was also doing it because he had a 4. Oh, hello.
he says, "Oh, hello, good hand, nice answer."
Oh, hello.
Oh, good. Oh, what are you doing, bro? You gotta squeeze it.
Bro,
Yeah,
I have to squeeze here. We were just talking
yeah. You gotta steal. You're a pot stealing maniac, bro.
how the only hand that can call is aces.
That's good.
I don't know, whatever.
No, that's right. I mean, that's a great play. No, that's the right play.
But like that was gonna be 4 ways to the flop.
Yeah, we don't want that.
I mean, you do want that
Let's go
because you have
flop
the
versus
best
this is
possible
good right
starting
now.
hand. But I'm too chicken shit.
It's pretty close.
So like this guy with 170, 164, right? Like
You're thinking,
I think like the perception is that he's not good because he's not reloading. And like he's probably just like me. Like I haven't figured out a way to automatically top up, which maybe there is in Bovada, but like you have to like manually go down here and click like buy chips and like every time, and it's a huge fucking pain in the ass.
All right. Well, let's call it. I mean, this close enough for government work. I know you have the dogs to walk. Let's kind of. I think we'll call it there for the viewers because we want to show that. Oh, whoa, 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 ace queen.
Ace Queen suited against a donk who only has $170.
Yep, right. Image is everything. That's why you keep it. Dude, what's he doing? He folds. Dude,
He
I think that's another
folds.
one, a camouflager like you.
What's that?
I think that could have been a camouflager, like a guy that doesn't auto reload.
I think there's a lot of us, and it, like I don't think it's necessarily that weak. Now, $101 is like that's kind of weak. Like I will reload if I get that low. Because like what happens if you double up? You're back to fucking a full stack? Like come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally. Nice.
That is giving up a lot of EV. But I think like being at 170, like are you really giving up that much EV? Like how often are you getting it all in? Like I feel like most of the time when I get it all in with $170, I'm getting it all in against some dipshit that only has $90. Anyway, like I'm not even the effective stack depth.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good play.
So, all right, I'm gonna click sit out big blind.
Yeah, that was.
So normally I would just keep playing until I get to $300,
Okay, well, I mean.
which maybe that's about to happen, or maybe
If he shoves all in, what are you doing?
I'm snap calling.
Whew. Don't want to see that heart on the turn. Nice, dog. Well,
So there you go.
that's middle stakes poker right there.
Is it middle? I feel like most people still consider 1-2 low stakes.
No, man, that's middle management, bro. That's I feel like there's guys 8, 10, 12 table in that shit that are like.
So you can only do 4 with Zoom.
No, I know. I guess at ACR back in the day, dude, you got guys like 12 table and one. They would do 1, 2, and 2, 4, and like they were making over 100K for sure. But 100K in 2012 was, than 100K today. So,
Yeah. Well,
good job, man. That was good. We kind of see how that flows too. Like, but yeah, good choice.
I think the live stream is. I think we sit and chit chat, but like you never talk about the current hand.
Yeah, I think, and then what you could do is you could live stream and then cut aside for 60 seconds once you have the hand data and break it down and then come back to the you could do something like that.
Oh, like splice it together later?
Yeah, there's room for that. So I think our format is 30 minutes where we do both, where we'll like have you. We'll film you do a session, and then like the next time what we'll do is we'll hand review the hands we just played, and then play a new session and like kind of bridge it. And I don't know.
That's it. That's not a bad format.
I mean, in the worst case, it's like we should just do that like at least one more time so we can get the analysis from the.
Yeah. Well, so the other thing I was thinking is like when I have those sessions where I only play like 33 hands.
Yeah.
You could just do you could do an episode where you just like review every single hand.
Yeah.
Even the ones that you're not in, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like
33 hands. Yeah.
You're like, this was a 33 hand session. Like start with number 1, and you're like, I folded, and then because then that way, because like when I'm doing this, sorting by just big pots and ones that I win big or lose big, like you're losing out on the range of where it's like, dude C bets, other guy folds or whatever, right? And which is fine. That's not as interesting as big dollar things, but like from an analysis perspective, like I'm really like I've written down notes like what is the population C betting frequency on what kind of boards, right? Like and how often are people defending? Like I know pre-flop, I think people are defending the big blind way too wide, but like are they appropriately adjusting for that and like folding enough of their range like if you're calling really wide on the big blind or on the pre-flop on the big blind, then like you're gonna have a lot of like crappy pairs that like you can't be like, well, I'm calling because I got a pair. It's like, well, dude, you're calling really wide. Like you're gonna get a bunch of like middle pairs that aren't good enough to call, right? Like are people adjusting that? And I don't know if you see that unless you look at the small pot hands sometimes too. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, totally.
So like I don't know.
I think
But
it's
I
a
do
good
like
idea.
that idea of like having footage of playing like 20 or 30 hands and then cutting to analysis of those hands.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's just this new way of seeing hands because you see everything, and so how to make that interesting. I mean, it is interesting, but it's the new angle.
It has a lot going for it in the sense that it's all
That
interesting.
exactly. It has a lot going for it. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna write that down in the note. Okay. Cool, man. Well, good job, and yeah, let's do another one like probably Friday or maybe even tomorrow. I don't know what you're doing.
Like so I was thinking
Oh
tomorrow
wait,
we
we got we get 24 hours. Yeah.
well for the ones that we just did we have to wait 24 hours. But tomorrow we'll have those two 33 hand sessions that
Okay, yeah, yeah.
which
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'd say let's I like that idea of just being like here's 33 hands. Go through
Okay.
one, even the ones you didn't play in, like
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
totally. Because then it highlights the fact that you can see everyone's whole cards and that there's a lot going for it.
Yeah.
It's like okay, that's strange. All right, well let's do it. Yeah, what's your schedule tomorrow?
It's pretty open actually.
You want to just knock it out in the morning?
Sure.
All right.
What time?
Uh, knock it out at like. Let me signal you. Let me find out what time Jess's interview is. And I
Okay.
make sure that, yeah, everything's clear energy for that. So,
For sure.
all right. But let's plan on tomorrow morning.
All right.
Cool. All right, man. Make sure it's saved, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. See ya.